Hello Internet. Today I'm going to be showing you a demonstration of using CSS grids to render a table, which is kind of the opposite of what has been going on in the past, where people were using tables to lay things out, whereas they should have been using CSS. But I'll just demonstrate why you might want to do this. Full credit to my colleague who actually did 99% of the work here. All I've done is tweak it for demonstration purposes. I will link to his website in the description and also the GitHub page where I'll be hosting the source code. You might be thinking, that's crazy. Why would I want to use a CSS grid for rendering a table? And that is a good thought to have, because actually 99% of the time you should not do this. Because tables are really good for showing tabular data. But we needed to be able to do some fancy things, such as be able to dynamically add content, which you can do at the table, but also this interesting feature that I'll show you. So imagine you have a dashboard that has like lots of little tables or whatever, and you just cannot fit the content within the widget. Here I'm resizing the widget so that you can see that it'll flow to any size. But yeah, you got your overflow, and it's a bit of a shame that if you're down here, you can't tell what the header or the column were, So in Excel, you can like freeze the first row and then scroll down, and then you're not lost onto what this value represents. So with CSS grids, we can do this little tweak. Obviously, there are JavaScript libraries for freezing the first row, but I haven't seen one that also freezes the first column, and this is just dead easy. And the fact that we can add rows and columns with it, and then the table will automatically resize, is brilliant. It's just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, in the source code, all I gotta do is I'm gonna uncomment this, because I'm going to unfreeze the first row. If you freeze the first row or column, you need to uncomment that one. I'm going to freeze just the first row this time. So I've commented everything nicely, so you don't have to figure out what to do. So now, when I scroll down, the first row stays in place, which is brilliant, so I can tell that's that. But the first column is not. If you want just the first column to remain frozen, then what you would do is, again, you'd need this one uncommented, and you uncomment this one. So now the first, no, that's not quite right. And the first column. Yep. Yep. Sorry about that. So now the first column is frozen, but not the first row. Alright, I'm not sure. I might need to tweak something there to be able to do just the first column. But if you want the first row and column, which is probably the case, you put 99% of the time you want to do the first row and then maybe the first column. But now first row is frozen and the first column is frozen, and I can resize my widget. So if the table can render large enough, then it doesn't even matter. You don't need to worry about the fact that they're frozen. So that's brilliant. It's just fantastic. I've always wanted to be able to have frozen header rows in tables, using just like normal HTML, which this is, like CSS and HTML. The only downside is that because it's not actually a table, well, I guess it might be a good side. You just use divs. You don't have TRs and TDs, and that also means that you need to specify your column count here. So if I had 11 columns, that would be that, and you can see it's redone my table and messed it all up because I've like hard coded the headers here. You'd probably want some logic to automatically set up the table, but you would change that. And yeah, you would need to add a whole chunk at a time, right? So like that. And I don't, if you wanted an empty cell, you'd have to just do something like that. But yeah, no, I think this is it's useful to know about, and it's there if you need it. Just a crazy take on CSS grids that I thought was interesting, and I'm glad Mark did the work and gave me permission to publish it. So hope that was useful. I'll see you next time.